If it wasn't animated, I know you love that show.
Really?
I know you would love that show.
Yeah, I hate that I can't get into. I was talking to my nephew about that. It's like I don't understand it. There's like take South Park for example. I love South Park. You know, every time I watch it, I laugh my ass off. One of my favorite episodes of a show is one of the episodes of South Park, and I love it. But and if I'm with Wheezy and he turns it on, or whatever, I'll sit there and watch it, whatever.
But you're not gonna.
But I just won't. Yeah, I won't turn it on, and I don't know why. I don't understand that. I don't know. It's just something about it where I just.
Here's another show like BoJack Horseman. Like that's not on the list. That's a popular show.
Real popular. But well, that's not a Netflix original though, is it?
Yeah.
Is it? I could swear BoJack Horseman was around before Netflix or was on something else before.
BoJack Horseman is a Netflix show.
Huh. Okay. I didn't know. Well, in other television news, we talk about TV on here all the time, and we talked about all the streaming channels and all the networks, and everybody's getting into it. You guys never guess who now has their own channel.
Flavor Flav?
Oh,
No.
God, no, please.
No, I think that's even more ridiculous than the first thing I'm trying to get you to guess.
Oh, God.
I'll tell you because you'll
Flav.
never guess it. You'll never guess. But Scientology,
Oh, I did know this.
they now have their own channel.
Not only that, their studio is a block from my house.
All Scientology all the time. It started in February of this year.
Wow.
And it's all Scientology. Even the commercials. Well, everything, basically the shows are just commercials for Scientology. And then they have commercials for the commercials, which is just more Scientology on top of it.
Wow. So they have a channel like TBN and...
Yeah. Yeah. And it's basically, don't look for any type of like entertainment programming. It's all Scientology based. It's all like reality, meet a Scientologist. And it's geared towards, they say that the purpose of it is like gears toward the non-Scientologists to try to, I guess recruit them or whatever. But yeah, that's what it's about. And it's just like filled with a lot of their jargon, their vocabulary and their rhetoric. And it's just all Scientology programming. I've checked out some shows and some things, whatever. And it's a trip. Well, I'm not a huge fan of Scientology. Anyway.
No.
So
You know that building across from the Del Taco?
Shut up.
That's where they make. That's
Shut
the Scientology
up.
production center.
Shut up. I love that Del Taco.
Well, then you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. Oh, my God.
Where that tiki bar is, it's like right behind that tiki bar.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah. But so I'm not. Yeah. Ever since I read the autobiography of the
Lisa
leader.
Remini?
No, not Lisa Remini.
Ron Hubbard or
Ron Hubbard?
or David Miscavige.
Okay, if you guys stop guessing.
Well, you said the leader.
I said the leader's name is David Miscavige. All right, he was like, I liken him to. He was. I think he's the Scientology version of Malcolm X. What Malcolm X was to the Nation of Islam is what David Miscavige is to Scientology. Like he was like the right hand man of the guy who started it, and like a prodigy, real young, and real, because like he was like 12 years old and was an auditor, and that's, I don't have time to go into telling you what that is, but that's a big thing in Scientology. He was like the youngest ever and all that kind of stuff, and he eventually rose to up the ranks and took over. His niece, her name is Jenna Miscavige Hill, and I read her autobiography about how she quote unquote escaped Scientology and her whole life in it and everything like that. And it's a trip.
The one thing about Malcolm X is his wife never disappeared.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say he was exactly the same as.
Malcolm X wasn't encouraging people to leave their children.
But yeah, but I'm just saying as far as his relationship to the dynamism
of him
to Scientology and Malcolm X's relationship to the Nation of Islam, it's comparable.
Yeah.
So anyway, with that said, that story is it's a trip.
That is a trip. I feel like they're just gonna be sucking your thoughts out through the channel. I'm scared. I'm scared of Scientology though.
Nothing to be afraid of.
They don't scare me. They annoy me.
Yeah. There's nothing to be afraid of. Like, and the part of it, me reading it is a hard time because I'm trying to wrap my head around how do you Like that's why I did the air quotes for escape.
Yeah.
Like what do you need to? Are they physically imprisoning people? Mostly no.
No.
They're not. But I kind of get it because it's this whole cult type thing or whatever, and this is for a certain type of people. Some people would never ever feel like they would have to escape. They would just leave.
Allegedly, though, there are people that are being held against.
No, yeah, there are. That's why I said for the most part, no. But yeah, because it's a good chance that his wife is being held captive somewhere if she's alive,
right?
Because she hasn't been seen in
years.
Right?
How do you not see somebody for years or hear from them?
But
how is there no investigation on this? That's the wife situation.
Well, this supposedly was. There's just been because Leah Remini has forced some investigations to some extent or whatever, and they've looked into it. But then they say because she's no relation to the woman and this and that they're not obligated and they can't divulge what they have discovered and all that. So she's forced them to investigate, but she doesn't know the result of the investigations because she has no relation or no right to know.
Right, I see. Still strange.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. That's not even an argument. So did you guys know that 50 as in 50 Cent has more than, like, Power's not his only show? He has another show.
Well, like a spinoff, right? I heard he was coming out with
No. Not going to. Has on the air right now another show.
The Troll Man 50 Cent.
Yes. The 50 Cent, the one on the Power 50 Cent, that guy. It's not a trick question.
Wow.
It's a straight out question.
What show?
Did you know, Pip?
Well, I know he produces other shows. I didn't know he was starring and acting in.
No. That's what I mean, producing.
Oh yeah, I told you on the show one time. I almost worked for him.
Okay.
Producing a comedy show.
Okay.
But they hired somebody in New York instead.
Yeah, no, this show is on the air. It's called The Oath, and it's on. Actually, there's another. I don't want to call it a network. I guess it's a streaming type thing or whatever. I've mentioned it on the show before, called Crackle, and they have some original content. And The Oath, one of 50's other shows, is one of them. Now this show, I've checked it out. I watched probably half the first season or close to half. The content or the premise of it, I should say, the premise of it, I love.
Mm-hmm.
I love the premise. But the production of it, it's got a low budget. Right? It's got a low budget. If this show had the same budget that Power had, I think it would be great.
Ooh.
Because the concept is so good. What it's about is something that we don't talk about a lot, and some people out there may not even know they exist. But what the concept is, it's about cop gangs, real life cop gangs.
Oh.
And the guy who is producing it, who 50 has producing it, is an ex-cop who was in a cop gang. So these stories are based on things that he's actually experienced. So it's pretty deep.
Wow.
It's pretty deep.
Wow, man.
But the problem is it's like shot in, I don't know where. It looks like someplace like Puerto Rico or Cuba or something. I would guess not Cuba, probably Puerto Rico. But you can tell it's not the U.S.
Yeah.
And it's like the actors, most of them are not recognizable at all. And if they had, like I said, if they had the Power budget, I would love to see this, with some really good actors and a decent budget shot here in America. This would be, I think it could be better than Power, really. I
was going to ask you, do you think that maybe the reason why he's not getting the funding is because of the type of show or the concept?
It could be. I don't know. It's hard to speculate. I just feels like maybe, they couldn't get anybody else to buy the show except this little
Spreaker.
This little off-brand, network or whatever with service, and it's just not a lot of money to put into it, and so that's what, But if it ever gets to the point where it can get a good budget, I would really love to go back and check it out. I'm still going to try and watch it if I can, just because, like I said, it's so, and the subject matter is so interesting.
Yeah.
My nephew was saying that his wife's girlfriend, she was dating this sheriff who was in one of those cop gangs, had the tattoo and everything.
What? They got what?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That whole Rampart thing with Rafael Perez and the training day and all that is cop gang stuff. And
even like the whole Biggie stuff.
They play that. It does too. They play that part like in we watch Training Day. Even it's loosely based on that whole situation and that guy. But it's not it's not enough to say that this is that story or whatever. But they don't they take that angle out of it. The whole
Right.
cop gang part of it, they take that out of it,
You think
and they just have it as like a group of dirty
Rogue
cops.
cops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Denzel Washington does make a sense. Like, if you want to be on my team, then you can whatever. So he does make that comment inside the movie. So wow, I didn't. But we've always known for years that LAPD is the biggest gang, bigger than the Bloods, bigger than the Crips, bigger than anybody. So LAPD has always been the largest gang. So to find out that it's like a gang within a gang, that's crazy.
I think there's also Pinkerton gangs, like the Pinkerton security guard officers.
You joking around, right?
I am joking around.
I'm like, what are you talking about right now?
The security guards.
You
a
just
lot
like the
of them.
idea
It's a
of a
big-
gang having the pink in the name of it, huh?
No, I'm just thinking of mall cops gangs.
The Paul Blart Mall Cop
Right.
gang.
That's funny.
Yeah, but they're no joke. They're no joke, and they do all the crimes that, and they work with the real gangs and different things, and yeah, they do a lot of dirt. So it's basically you've known about them, but you just known about them as dirty cops.
Right.
And
Right, you never think about like a whole crew or a whole team, but even when you do,
they're more organized than that.
yeah, even when you do hear about the whole team of people, you think about one isolated situation. Like, we had the police officer here who was caught with all the coke and all the stuff inside his police car and all the weed inside his police car, and he was like the leader of like a ring of police officers who were trafficking drugs because they figured, hey, we won't get caught, we're in our police cars. But they did get caught. So we think of that as one isolated situation, not that, okay, this is consistently happening.
And the way they portrayed it on the show, it was like this, and this doesn't. They don't name any city. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know what, but you definitely see that there are different
Mannerisms.
different cop agencies, like sheriffs, and then like PD, and then different PDs on top of that, and they have their different names for the different gangs all within, but they work together, and there's a hierarchy and all this. This is a trip. It's a trip. Like I said, it's very interesting.
Oh yeah,
that
got
real.
me.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
oh yeah,
real.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what was So
It's too much like right. Too much like right.
I want to talk about reboots for a minute here. Specifically, okay, I've noticed that a lot of the reboots fall into two categories of the type of show, and I'm really happy about one of them in particular. Well, not so much that it's a reboot, but just this genre having an awakening. Okay, like they have rebooted Magnum P.I., Hawaii Five-0, Charm, Sabrina, and now another Roswell is coming back as a reboot. Now, the first set are all kind of cop things, or cop related, and they're bringing back action. Now none of these shows I watched or have watched all of these shows that I've just mentioned, and the new versions, I find I consider them guilty pleasures. They're not like shows, like they wouldn't make a list that I would bring to the show and say, oh, you guys got to watch this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they're fun for me to watch sometimes when I have downtime, or maybe have on while I'm at work, because it doesn't take a lot of brain power.
Right, yeah.
And I can do my work, and I don't have to see it, and I can just listen and be entertained or whatever. What I like about them, though, is because the action genre had died. We had all these shows, and then the Law and Orders, which the procedurals, they came in, and we've talked about this, many times, that Hollywood is like the most copy monkey see, monkey do industry in the world.
Oh yeah.
So you get a couple of hits of Law and Order and
CSI,
and then next thing you know, everything is a procedural, and there are no action shows. And yeah, the procedurals are cool too, but there's a place for the action to rock.
Yeah,
exactly.
mix it up.
Exactly. They never want to do variety and mix it up. Everybody wants to do the same thing all the time.
Remember in the 90s when the game show came back, and nighttime primetime game shows came back, and it was like it's a game show on every fucking night.
Right. Yeah.
I like
so
that.
yeah, so
when we were younger, there was always this night was comedy and this night was drama.
So now they have procedure, because the Law and Orders and the CSIs are still going strong, but now they have the Magnum PIs and the Hawaii Five-0s are back. Now the second set of reboots are all supernatural type stuff: Charm, Sabrina, and Roswell. Which I just find it interesting that that's what they are. I don't know if it's coincidence or what, but you know.
Well, maybe they're trying to keep up with just like the popularity of The Walking Dead, and maybe they're trying to